perfect ride for you today with the New Year New Ride sales event at Guam Auto Spot. Get behind the wheel of the 2024 Outlander Sport starting at just $22,995 or only $156 per paycheck. Visit GuamAutospot.com or call 671-478-AUTO.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid, only at Docomo Pacific.
Check out these job openings at Sentinel Security. Join their security team for starting pay between $10 to $15 an hour. Email them today. They have security guard positions available now.
Hey, any luck today?
Nope, nothing's biting. What about you?
All day, par, all day.
The perfect Lenten meal. Wendy's fish sandwich and platter, now available through the Lenten season. Wendy's Guam, we got you.
Cold Stone Guam's Very Berry Non-Dairy is very berry delicious. This creation is deliciously made with silk chocolate almond milk, strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. Vegans and non-vegans alike will fall for this plant-based, vegan, dairy-free, and lactose-free frozen dessert made with silk chocolate almond milk. Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
Kandit News is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
Good evening, my dear friends. It is 9:12 p.m. on Thursday, April 10, 2025. My name is Troy Torres, and it's been an eventful day. The grand jury this afternoon, according to a report by Nick Delgado at KUM. Nick Delgado breaks all these stories, man. You got to I can't believe that guy is leaving journalism. That's such a loss for the people of Guam. So anyway, he was the one who broke the story, reporting that the grand jury handed down a charge against Frankie Rosalin in the March 12, 2025 case. And let me just say, you and I, those of you listening tonight, those of you who will watch this replay later tonight or early in the morning or in the days to come, you know a truth about this island. And a truth about this island is that if you or me, if we went into the office of Port General Manager Rory Respicio on March 12, 2025, if we had an argument with him, if we menacingly threatened him, And if we, in a fit of rage, punched holes into his wall or into his door, if it was you, if it was me, Port Police would have marched down that door, hustled us to the ground, arrested us, filed a report the same day to the Office of the Attorney General. We would be detained at the Hagåtña Detention Center. And within 48 hours, but more than likely the very next day on March 13, we would have been magistrated before a magistrate judge. We would have been charged with several felonies and trial would be set. If you or me on July 4, 2018, pulled the handgun from Officer Carl Cruz's holster at a block party in Tumon, you or me very likely would have been shot by the other police officers. And if we weren't shot, we would definitely have been arrested. And on July 5th or July 6th, we would have been brought before the magistrate judge. We would have been charged with felonies and trial would be set. If you or me in March of 2021 were drunk behind the wheel of a red Jeep, crashed it into Jerry's kitchen, we would have been blood alcohol tested. If we refused, we would have at the very least been asked to do a sobriety test. If we refused, we would have been arrested. We would have been brought before a magistrate judge the next day or the day after. We would have been charged and trial would have been set. But the difference in all of those three cases, the difference isn't the three cases. The difference is it wasn't you or me involved or allegedly involved. It was people with political power. You know, today's the 30th day since the March 12 incident. And I swear, if you could take a journey through my mind, if you could have seen the things that I have seen over the past 30 days, you would be frightened, you would be terrorized, you would have almost no faith in the criminal justice system. The public has seen quite a bit. The public has every reason to lack confidence in the criminal justice system because the public understands that there should have been an arrest on March 12 when Rory Respicio made the first allegations against Frankie Rosalin. The public understands that Port Police really screwed this up, either intentionally or through incompetence. The public understands the amount of days that have gone by that criminal justice has been delayed. But there's everything that has happened in between. There's the fact that the alleged assailant was allowed to go back to work. There is the fact that several port employees were fearful for their lives and their safety. There is the fact that people who have been made to be political pawns in this game, and we're talking about the Lieutenant Governor of Guam here. This isn't just the marina manager. This isn't just a regular Port Authority employee. This is something bigger. We are talking about the brother-in-law of the Lieutenant Governor of Guam. We are talking about the Lieutenant Governor of Guam, Joshua Tenorio. And political pawns in this little game, this big game that's been played over the past 30 days, have been made to endure harassment, cyberbullying, slander. This issue went to the legislature. You had, thankfully, Jesse Lujan Frank Blas, Sean Gumatalto asking tough questions of the Port Authority. You didn't have the officials who were actually involved in the investigation before the legislature. For some reason, you didn't have the deputy general managers. You didn't have legal counsel Jamie Cancel. You didn't have Port Police Chief Jesse Mendiola. You had the one person who was recused from the case, who recused himself, who is the victim in the case, Rory Respicio, trying to answer questions. You didn't hear a peep out of Chris Barnett, who, for whatever reason, has decided to not say anything about this case, even though he said many things about the seaport and corruption over there. He turned it against Rory Respicio in that. You had, over the past 30 days, every effort, all stops being pulled for the evasion of criminal justice in this case. And the only reason that a charge came down today is because Doug Moylan gives 0 Fs about the political establishment. Is because Doug Moylan, and for whatever problems that people might have with him, I disagree with him on some stuff, sure. Yeah, I don't agree with him on everything. I don't like most of those billboards, but I'll tell you what, I am grateful to the Lord that today Douglas Moylan is the Attorney General of Guam. That where everyone else in this system has failed us, where we would have a repeat of what happened with the evasion of justice by Ray Tenorio and in the Red Jeep case. Now we have Douglas Moylan. And some people may criticize, well, how come he couldn't get indictments on the other charges? We're never going to know the answer to that because a grand jury proceeding is sealed. The jurors are never supposed, the identities of the jurors are never supposed to be known by the public. And so it is difficult, if not impossible, to ascertain why the grand jurors, the majority of the grand jurors, did not hand down a true bill on those other charges. What I do know is that if Port Police had done their job on March 12 and arrested Frankie Rosalin on that day, forwarded the case to the Attorney General's office, the recourse would not have been to a grand jury of your peers. The recourse would have been through the magistrate process. There would have been charges brought up, filed before a magistrate judge, and more than likely the magistrate judge would have charged the case with felonies. This would have been done on March 12, March 13, March 14, had Port Police done their jobs. And why Port Police didn't do their jobs, I'd like for Attorney General Douglas Moylan to turn his attention now to Port Police. For his investigators to find out what the hell happened. How did he almost get away with it? How did Josh Tenorio almost get away with this? What collusion happened? What is happening there? But there's something even bigger, my friends, and I hope Douglas Moylan, our Attorney General, does not stop at this charge. Because in Rory Respicio's criminal complaint on March 12, he provided this description of what happened. And though it's not entirely detailed, there are several questions that need to be answered based on what Rory Respicio wrote. He wrote about the argument that took place, and in order to paint the picture of the argument and what led to the alleged fit of rage, Rory Respicio detailed some of the things that were in this argument. And let me read you some of these things, because you're going to have the same questions that I have, that I believe that the Attorney General must run down. His investigators must run down. And he cannot count on Port Police to do this. He cannot count on anyone else in the system to do this, because it really does appear that in the criminal justice system, thankfully we have Guam Police who made those arrests over the last weekend and gave our community a semblance of relief, and that the justice system works. But this isn't with Guam Police. This matter was with Port Police. Totally different. So the only part of the system in this case that seems to be working is the Attorney General. So this is some of the stuff that Mr. Respicio said that warrants further review and investigation, because perhaps this Rosalin thing is, for lack of a better term, the tip of the iceberg. But I think what Rory Respicio recounts as what the argument was with Frankie Rosalin has elements in it that appear to be far more important that we understand what is going on here. So, one of the things he says in March 12 is, quote, I told Frankie to stop whatever issues were being stirred up between him, Charissa Tenorio is Josh Tenorio's only sibling, between him, Charissa Tenorio, his significant other, and me, because this has been going on for 2 years, end quote. What's been going on for 2 years? That's a pretty important answer that we need. The Attorney General needs to get an answer to that. What's been going on for 2 years? And what were Mr. Rosalin and Ms. Tenorio allegedly stirring up? And for whose benefit? Now remember, Charissa Tenorio is not a port employee. She's not even a government employee. She's the sister of the lieutenant governor, the only sibling, and she is the significant other of Frankie Rosalin, who is the marina manager of the port. And then a couple paragraphs down, Rory Respicio wrote, quote, I reminded him of an incident when Charissa came to my office demanding to speak with my employee. When I called my employee in, Charissa immediately lashed out at her, saying, F you for everything. You're not grateful for what my brother did for you. You should be grateful to him and me. You owe my brother and you owe me. Now, those of you who have been in the classified or unclassified service of the government of Guam, you'd have the same question that I have. What is the lieutenant governor? Why would the lieutenant governor and his sister allegedly feel some sort of entitlement from a classified government employee? Now, we understand that unclassified employees are political appointees. We understand it. While it might not be ethically right, they are beholden to their political appointers. They are beholden to the political system. They are unclassified, meaning they are not merit-based employees. But the employee that they're talking about here is a classified employee of the government. Why would the lieutenant governor and his sister allegedly have this sense of entitlement over a classified employee's loyalty? And why is the lieutenant governor's sister, Charissa Tenorio, allegedly throwing her weight around a cabinet member's office? What business does she have there? And is this related to the 2 years of stirring things up? And if it is related to the 2 years of stirring things up, what's been stirred up? What operations are being intervened with here? Is it hiring? Is there cronyism? Is it purchasing fundraising tickets for political fundraisers? Is it promotions? Is it demotions? Is it firings? Is it port tariffs? Is it contracts? Is it, making sure someone gets something done correctly in someone's favor, and that's against the protocols or the rules? What is going on there? Or is it something worse? The Attorney General needs to get answers to this. But I think that the most perplexing part of this recounting of this argument with Frankie Rosalin that Mr. Respicio alleges happened, quote, Frankie responded, I was put here to tell you who you should be close to and not close to, but you're not listening, end quote. Now, Adeloop, as soon as we saw that, we sent a note to Adeloop asking, did you guys send Frankie Rosalin to the port? Did you have anything to do with his hiring? They said no. Did you have anything to do with, are you guys telling him to watch Rory Respicio? Why would you have to tell him to watch your own cabinet member? And Adeloop denies what Frankie Rosalin allegedly said. But if Mr. Respicio is accurately retelling this story, we have to wonder why Frankie Rosalin said that, and what exactly did he mean? What does it mean to watch him? What does it mean to tell Rory Respicio who he should or should not trust and why? And why in the world would a marina manager, that's Frankie Rosalin's position, have the power to instruct his boss, the general manager, who he should be close to and not close to? And then there's the issue, and, there's this slanderous thing that's going around that's sort of opened the doors to this. There's the issue of allegedly rogue officials who are in peculiar segments of the port. Allegedly rogue, meaning that they allegedly are in some sort of concert with people in power. They're in the docks, the marina, port police, and human resources. They're not in accounting, administration, finance. They're in these very particular operations of the port that surround the docks and the marinas. We have a guess what this could be about. We're just very grateful that Douglas Moylan not just sought after and got us a semblance of criminal justice in this Rosalin case, but we're grateful that Doug Moylan very likely is running down whatever theory this might be. So we say to you, Attorney General Douglas Moylan, don't stop. There's something happening there. There's a big pot of smelly, rancid chorizo puck that is boiling over, and we need you to find it and throw it out, because if not you, then who's going to find justice for us all? For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. Good night, and God bless you all.
We got that dynamite. We got that dynamite.
Find the perfect ride for you today with the New Year New Ride sales event at Guam Auto Spot. Get behind the wheel of the 2024 Outlander Sport, starting at just $22,995 or only $156 per paycheck. Visit GuamAutospot.com or call 671-478-AUTO.